welcome to another Liminal Spaces video. So, we just went and saw Godzilla Minus One, and it was incredible. If you haven't seen this in the theaters, I highly recommend that you get out to the theaters and check it out. It is so scary and dark and brooding. It was unexpected, honestly. It's really good. And I've talked about the first Godzilla film, which I really adore, in a previous video. This film, honestly, is kind of a remake of that first film. It follows the same basic plot, and I mean basic, right? There are many huge differences, but overall it's kind of the same story. There are a couple really massive differences that I want to go over. First off, in the previous video, I really tied Godzilla to the dropping of the nuclear weapons in World War II. And I believe that's a tiny piece of Godzilla, but I'm beginning to realize that it is not nearly as dramatic a piece of Godzilla as I thought it was. My brother pointed out to me that the first Godzilla film was made in '54. And at that time, right around that time, Japan had started playing with the idea of creating nuclear power plants. Now, they didn't actually have one until 1966. It took them a long time, of course, because there's a lot of research to be done, right? But right around the middle of the 50s is when they started playing with the idea of nuclear power. And Godzilla is a reaction to that. Right? If any part of it is World War II, the first film I'm talking about, if any part of it's World War II, it's subconscious. It is directly related to Japan utilizing nuclear power, and how do you get rid of the nuclear waste, right? What dangers are there associated with nuclear power? And that's Godzilla. Okay, so the stuff I said in that first video can pretty much be disregarded now that we have this information. It's really cool making these videos because it just makes me explore new things, right? It's wonderful. But we're going to get rid of that stuff. And the crazy thing about this film is you see Godzilla before the end of World War II. It's literally during World War II, the first time you see Godzilla. In this film, Godzilla is literally, the director says Godzilla is fear. Fear embodied. And it is terrifying. But I believe it's also kind of the horrors of war is what Godzilla represents in this film. You've got this main character who is so there's going to be some spoilers, okay? I'm not going to spoil the whole film. You need to see it, period, right? I mean, Rotten Tomatoes loves it, blah, 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 blah. Not that that means a lot, to be honest with you. I've kind of found that if a film comes out and all the crazy YouTubers jump on it as the worst thing ever, I'm going to go see it because I'm probably going to like it. Right? That Marvel's film, it's a blast. It's super fun. Totally worth checking out. It's very different. It's very different than, say, Iron Man or something, right? It's a whole different world, and I have no problem with that. But anyways, this new film, the lead character is a kamikaze pilot, but he chickens out. He can't do it. He leaves. And then Godzilla attacks, and he has an opportunity to hurt Godzilla, but I don't know that it would do any good, but he has an opportunity, and he chickens out again, right? And a bunch of people die, and this film is all about survival guilt and PTSD, and I mean it's crazy, and it's so good. So one of my biggest complaints about Godzilla films that I don't enjoy is that they don't have enough Godzilla, right? And I have that complaint about a lot of Godzilla films. The worst one was probably the American one way back. I don't remember when it came out. I think it had Matthew Broderick and stuff, where literally they lose Godzilla. They can't find him, right? Which is the, if you're ever making a Godzilla movie and you think to yourself, there should be a part where they don't know where Godzilla is, cut it, right? That's horrible. That's the stupidest idea ever. The whole point of Godzilla is he is overpowering everything. You should always know where he is. And I do understand that when he's out in the ocean, you know, it's hard to tell. But honestly, when they're looking through Manhattan, it's just ridiculous. But this film solves that problem, but not in a way that I expected at all. Because my solution would be, we need a lot more Godzilla. Put more Godzilla in the movie, right? We need twice as much Godzilla. This film actually solves the problem by making the human stuff worth watching, which I just didn't expect. You know what I mean? When you go to see a Godzilla movie, you want to see him knock buildings down and make his noise and all that stuff, right? But this film, you get enough Godzilla. There is enough Godzilla. And the human stuff just, I mean, it just runs parallel with it beautifully. It's so well done. There are a couple repeated beats, right? You'll watch something happen, and then someone will describe what happened to somebody else. But that's not the end of the world, right? It's just not the greatest writing of all, but it's fine. I mean, the movie, honestly, it's really, really good, and you absolutely must see it. Also, I wanted to point out that the music's amazing. It's incredible. We sat through the whole credits listening to this score, you know, with these people singing and a kind of operatic style. And, you know, it's a big chorus, right? And these booming sounds. I'll definitely watch the credits to the end, because they do an amazing thing where once most of the credits are done, the music stops and you just hear Godzilla coming toward you. You don't see him, but you hear him coming toward you. So stay through the whole credits. They're short. It's not like an American film, you know. I mean, literally one guy wrote the thing, directed it, and was the head of the special effects. It's all the same guy. You know, did basically everything, although he had teams helping, of course. But the music is reminiscent of the first Godzilla film. There isn't. It's not like they literally took a track and you know, and they play it, but it's very reminiscent. Not only when Godzilla's attacking and you just get those big heavy bomb, you know, but also in kind of the main Godzilla theme. It really kind of sounds like the original film. Not enough that they have to credit it or anything, but you can tell it's Godzilla music for a Godzilla movie, which is just great. Okay, I think that's about all I have to say to it. Definitely go and see it. I don't think it's going to replace the original film on my top 10 list. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, because this film is modern. It's now. It's great. But the old one, I have nostalgia for starters, right? And that makes it tough. Plus, it's got that great actor from all the Kurosawa films. He's the lead scientist and in the original Godzilla, and it's a great film. In 1954, I think is when that one came out. So it's hard to say. I can't decide if I'm going to flip it or not, but I might, right? I kind of felt the same way about Shin Godzilla. That's another good Godzilla film. The only problem with Shin Godzilla, my usual problem the whole time, the first half is incredible. because you've got this crazy Godzilla doing crazy things. It's scary and weird and gross and it's wild. Definitely worth seeing all that stuff. And then you've got this really harsh satire of the Japanese government. Now, this film, the current Godzilla film, there's no satire. They literally, the government cannot do anything, and the citizens have to step up and take care of the situation themselves. They literally just say the Japanese government sucks, which is very bold. Now, both these are Japanese films, right? They're both Toho studios. It is subtitled, just so everybody knows. You have to read when you watch. They didn't subtitle the credits, which is very interesting. It's all just Japanese, but it's really excellent. But that Shin Godzilla, I love it. When it comes out in 4K, if it hasn't already, we're going to pick that one up as well. But that first half is just brilliant satire. It's amazing to see. The second half, not enough Godzilla. You know, the usual complaint. Bunch of humans walking around, talking smack, falling in love, blah, blah, blah. You know, the nonsense. But this new film, it is not nonsense. It's really good. It's really good. The director took a lot of influence, of course, from Godzilla, but also from Jaws. There's a real Jaws feel to this thing, which is just great. Really fun to watch. Okay, I think that's about all I need to say. I hope you liked the video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe because we got stuff all the time and all different subjects, really, at this point. Yeah, thank you so much for watching and have a great night.